Okay, let's get into energy matters, or the lack thereof, and its impact on communities. While delivering the quarterly statistics for crime, the Police Minister Behavioural mentioned that opportunistic crime is on the increase as a result of criminals taking advantage of the load shedding. We now take you to Athlone, where the community is reeling from yet another attack of a neighbour, with the crime busters in the area quite concerned, as Natalie Malgas is about to tell us. Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning, Dudu. Not a rosy picture at all. As you mentioned, Police Minister Behavioural himself conceding that load shedding is impacting SAPS and their ability to keep our communities safe. Just this past week, here in the community of Athlone in Cape Town, neighbours are still traumatized and reeling because a dear friend and neighbour was attacked, murdered in his own home on his own premises as he was approaching alleged robbers on his property. Unfortunately, we're hearing anecdotal accounts from residents here in Athlone that this is pretty common and has been quite common, especially when there are power cuts. I'm now standing with Ridwan Matthews, a home security expert, to talk us through what they have noticed. Ridwan, what are the trends during load shedding patterns? What have you seen in terms of crime in the area?
So during the escalation of the various stages of load shedding, we've seen a massive spike in loitering in all areas around the Western Cape. And that's posing a serious challenge, because now you have opportunistic criminals just waiting for load shedding so that they can pounce on residents.
You mentioned that your specific team of security guys have put together a study watching patterns as they increase. We're approaching winter. You mentioned that that was a high crime peak. What do you anticipate happening with load shedding increasing and winter fast approaching?
So generally in winter, you normally have a spike of 35% in normal criminal activity. Now, this is going to be the first time that we're having such excessive load shedding conditions, and that's obviously going to spike in excess of 50%. So what we are doing is we are telling residents, the first thing that you need to do is ensure that your home is well lit, install solar lighting, but you have to be extremely vigilant during load shedding.
What are some of the trends that you've noticed? Is it brazen criminals accessing your property while you are home, or is it opportunistic criminals waiting for you to leave and for things to go quiet?
So we've seen a massive challenge that is happening, just as you and I, residents, are using the load shedding app to basically facilitate our planning. The criminals are using the exact app to plot their next move, so they know exactly what is happening in a specific area. What we've also noticed is the behavioural patterns that are taking place. We see a huge challenge. They're leaving to work in load shedding conditions, and they are arriving at home during load shedding conditions. And we've had incidents where residents have innocently come home, fell asleep because they are in load shedding conditions, and forgot to set the alarm, forgot to close the windows, and then you find an opportunistic criminal that pounces on those weaknesses.
You also mentioned, and this perhaps points us to the advice to residents, that yes, your security system should be checked out, but it's a canine friend, you think, that could be quite helpful in safeguarding your property?
Yeah, so what we've noticed is that our study that we've done in these all independent research, we found that residents that have a dog are less likely to be burgled. Your alarm system has to be triggered, whereas your dog has a sixth sense. So the minute something happens, that dog is going to be out there at your front gate and barking, which obviously sets you alert, and then you'll be able to do the necessary steps.
You also mentioned don't try and go out and approach whoever you may think may have breached your security system at home. So don't be a hero.
Exactly. So each resident should have access to armed response. If something happens at your premises, the first thing that you want to do is you want to stay behind closed doors. As long as you're inside, you are safe. And then you want to take out your flashlight and basically just notify the perpetrators that somebody is at home and that you will be calling either SAPS or you'll be calling the local security. But don't be a hero. Don't go out there. That's our job. Our job is to protect you. Give us a call, your local security company, and we will come out.
How useful are those community WhatsApp groups where you notify a neighbour that something's happening on your property and you call out a friend or someone around the block? How useful do you think that is?
So that does have its place in society. But the biggest drawback is that when I'm being attacked and I'm a resident and I'm calling another resident to come and help me, I'm actually endangering his life. So the main thing that you want to do is, yes, it's fine to be an alert system, but what you want to do is you want to call out the professionals, the security company, or notify the police.
Thank you very much. Ridwan Matthews there, Dudu. Again, just saying in recent weeks, there have been home invasions, there have been attacks on motor vehicles in this particular area and some of the surrounding neighborhoods that they've noticed as security squads here in Cape Town. The fact that police themselves have conceded, load shedding has made their work difficult. It has many residents across South Africa, no doubt, feeling like sitting ducks.
Natalie, Malgas, thank you very much for that update.